kiss my ass, that agent, and tell him to lower the ticket prices.
I don't know if you've noticed, but something feels off when it comes to the WWE today. The promos are different, the storylines are inconsistent, and everybody just seems to not be on the same page. And during this build to WrestleMania, it seems like all of this is coming to a head. Because behind the scenes, there might be a quiet or not so quiet war happening between WWE creative and the people that are now running the company. And if you've been paying attention, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes might have already told us this. Cause man, during their promos, they went the fuck off. See, WWE seems a bit different since TKO took over. Now, don't get me wrong, there were some good moments when they first took over, but if you've noticed over the years, we've slowly seen more and more of their imprint being placed into WWE, and for the most part, it's done more bad than good. The structure just seems more corporate, there seems to be less creative freedom, there have been inconsistencies with the booking, and most importantly, the ticket prices have gone up and up and up. And during this time, Triple H took a lot of the slack. And honestly, some of it was warranted, but have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why does this feel like a totally different company? What's been going on with Triple H? In my opinion, as flawed as Triple H is, he's far from the real problem with WWE today. So today I really want to dive into the civil war that appears to be brewing between WWE and TKO, where we'll take a look at some of the instances where TKO got too involved, as well as break down what both CM Punk and Cody Rhodes said during their promos, and we also take a look at what this could mean for the future of WWE and TKO. But before we do that, y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate it if you could help me get there. Also, if you're into NFL and NBA content, go ahead and check out my other channel. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Now, without further ado, let's get back to the video. So let's start off with what happened on Friday Night SmackDown, where, man, none of it made sense. So we start off, of course, with Pat McAfee, or as CM Punk likes to call him, Pat McAfee, low-blowing Cody Rhodes and being revealed as the person that Randy Orton was talking to on the phone, which obviously made zero sense. And Pat McAfee would go on to cut a promo where he seemed to be echoing the sentiments of both TKO and some subsections of the IWC, where he would call out Cody Rhodes for being a boring champion, and how the TV ratings have been on the decline since he's been champ. And he would also discuss the low ticket sales and the fact that we need to go back to the Attitude Era, and that Cody just wasn't doing his job as champion. That we need someone like Randy Orton as champion in order to save the business. And if that wasn't crazy enough, Cody would come out later that night and appear to take some direct shots at TKO, where he would essentially tell them that they could kiss his ass, and also question if they had the balls to fire him again, because it didn't work out so well last time. And it was rumored that some members of creative told Cody to go out there and shoot from the hip. Now, the initial reaction was that this was somehow a plot to get Cody to get cheered and Randy to get booed. But based on what just happened on Monday Night Raw, I wouldn't be too sure, because we gotta go into what CM Punk came out and said on the opening segment. In my opinion, CM Punk did a masterful job of taking jabs at TKO and the board of directors, while also somehow tying it back to his storyline with Roman Reigns. He would basically criticize the fact that Roman was handed his success due to his family ties, and then he would tie that into The Rock being on the board of directors, and then he would start taking shots at The Rock, calling him a former Hollywood star, and then imply that Roman only has his success due to the fact that he's gotten handout after handout after handout. But just when you thought he was done, he started to go in on none other than Pat McAfee, where he would basically insinuate that Pat McAfee was forced into this storyline by his agent, Ari Emanuel. And one of the biggest things he did was directly call for TKO to start lowering those damn ticket prices. So all in all, it seems like both of these promos from Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were just a big middle finger to TKO and their decisions to stick their nose in creative decisions. It seems like WWE Creative has gotten tired of TKO just interfering with their story plots, and they said, fuck it, we're gonna send our champions out there, and they're just gonna go off on you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And honestly, I applaud them, because there's no reason why TKO, a non-wrestling company, should be interfering with wrestling business. But sadly, this isn't the first time that TKO has done this. Let's take a look at some of those moments where TKO stuck their nose in WWE Creative's business. And trust me, most of the time, it has not worked out. Let's start with talking about the most recent instance where they just had to stick their nose in one of my most anticipated storylines, and that was the one between a heel Randy Orton and a face Cody Rhodes. See, in one of my previous videos when I discussed the unfinished storylines within WWE, I stated that this was one of my most anticipated ones, and that I hope that WWE just does not fuck this up. And as a sidebar, if you haven't checked that video out, you definitely should. But yeah, it seems like WWE, or at least TKO, has managed to fuck this storyline up, and I really don't understand why. Because in my opinion, this storyline should have been a layup. There was so much history there to explore, dating back to the Legacy days, and then all those instances when Randy was looking at the title, and then even that moment when Randy hesitated, costing him the King of the Ring and an opportunity at the world title. And then of course we had Randy teasing that he was on the phone with somebody, and it seemed like it was gonna be some kind of WWE legend, where Randy had that one line where he said, wrestling has more than one royal family. So you mean to tell me all of that and your reveal for who was on the phone is Pat fucking McAfee? In what world is Pat McAfee some kind of WWE legend? Is there some kind of lineage of McAfees that we don't know about within the WWE? I mean, come on. It just didn't make any sense. And then we got the reports that this was done by TKO in order to somehow boost ticket sales, as Pat McAfee is a huge media presence. But what good is that if it doesn't make sense for the story? Wrestling fans tune in for the story. If the story makes no sense, you're not gonna sell tickets. And see, this ticket sales, this money problem, will be a common theme as we go through some of these other examples. So let's look at the next example, and that's of course the heel turn of John Cena at Elimination Chamber in 2025. Now the moment itself of John Cena turning heel, brilliant. It was well executed, it was shocking, and it garnered a lot of excitement because we wondered what direction WWE will take this. And once again, at the time, myself as well as other people were saying that there's just no way that WWE could fumble this. But as we would later find out, they did. As The Rock never showed up, we only got Travis Scott, and even that was a one-time thing. And The Rock himself revealed that he was only brought in at Elimination Chamber in order to, you guessed it, boost ticket sales. See, as great as the moment itself was, why on earth would you involve The Rock and Travis Scott in a moment of this kind of magnitude while having absolutely no plans on how to follow this up? You don't bring in somebody to be a part of one of the biggest heel turns in WWE history and then not have them there to pay it off in the long run. And then of course we could go further back. When Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble in 2024, pointed directly at Roman Reigns saying he's coming for that title, only to drop his WrestleMania spot to the
Bald frog!
And yes, I get it. Rock and Roman is big time, but doing that at the cost of your Royal Rumble winner, as well as one of the biggest storylines you had going on in WWE at that time, makes no sense. And that's why we ended up with the We Want Cody movement, which led us to one of the most spectacular WrestleManias in recent memory. And then we have these other moments sprinkled in, such as The Rock showing up at Bad Blood, doing that 1, 2, 3 hand gesture without any explanation or payoff for that at all. or the fact that Cody pitched for Drew McIntyre to win the title at WrestlePalooza, which would have given him a longer title reign, and then it wouldn't have seemed so rushed when Cody got the title back this year. But yeah, as you can see, TKO sticks their nose in WWE creative way too often, and it honestly makes a mess of things. Because they have no idea what's really going on with the storylines, they only care about the money, they only care about the ticket sales, and they only care about the now. To me, they remind me of my favorite team, the New York Jets, where their owner, Woody Johnson, who is not a football guy, seems to stick his nose in football decisions that he has no business being a part of. If you're a true NFL fan, you'll understand that comparison. But yeah, it seems like WWE and TKO just can't seem to get on the same page. It's like there's two different visions for WWE, and they're pulling in opposite directions. And what does that lead to? A civil war. Now, I first want to start looking at Triple H, as for a while now, I've noticed that something just seems off when it comes to him. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like over the years, he's gotten more and more agitated and snappy when it comes to criticisms about his booking. And during these times, I've always thought to myself, there gotta be something more to this story, right? Because this is the same guy that booked NXT Black and Gold. The same guy that was booking great storylines in WWE from 2022 up until 2024. So it's just hard for me to believe that this same man, Triple H, would make some of these baffling decisions when it comes to these storylines. And with the most recent events, it turns out that my theory might just be true. See, while I don't believe that Triple H is perfect by any means, because believe me, I believe that he has a lot of flaws. But in my opinion, I believe that his hands are tied a lot of the time, and it's led to some of the most baffling decisions where he usually is the one that takes the heat, when in reality, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. And this seems to have all come to a head recently, where we've seen shots fired from both sides. It seems like there's one side led by Triple H and creative, and then the other side, which is the corporate structure under TKO. And to represent both sides, we've had Pat McAfee echoing the sentiments of TKO, and then we've had the champions themselves in Cody and Punk echoing the sentiments of WWE creative. Now, in terms of the future, where does this lead us? Well, in my opinion, there's a few scenarios that could occur. One scenario could be that the relationship between WWE and TKO sours just enough, and that leads to Triple H himself being replaced. There's clearly tension that's already there between Triple H and TKO, and if that tension boils over, it's easy to see that TKO could easily go ahead and just say, we're gonna replace Triple H. Now, who would they replace him with? Honestly, I have no idea. But that is one scenario. Now, another scenario is that they just turn this into an on-screen storyline, where TKO represents that authority figure that we've seen throughout the years in WWE, such as the Corporation back in the Attitude Era, or during the PG era when we had the Authority with Triple H and Stephanie and Kane with the suit. And maybe we see that represented as a faction with Randy Orton, The Rock, Pat McAfee, and some other folks. Now, the third scenario, which I feel like is the least likely of all of them, is that this tension somehow gets to the point where WWE and TKO both agree to part ways. Now, the reason why I don't believe that this scenario is really likely is just the fact that TKO holds so much power already, and I don't see them letting go of WWE that easily. But either way, this has been very interesting to see play out in real time, and I'm oddly curious to see where it goes next. I'm really wondering, are they just gonna have this play out more and more on live TV? Are other superstars gonna give this shoot style promo like CM Punk and Cody Rhodes did? Would the amount of backlash get to TKO to the point that they drop the Pat McAfee angle? Only time will tell. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on all of this? What do you think of the whole Pat McAfee angle? And what do you think of the two promos that CM Punk and Cody Rhodes cut? Do you think there's some real drama here? Or is WWE just blurring the lines? Also, what do you think all of this means for the future of WWE and TKO? Let me know. And of course, if you've made it this far in this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and also show some love by subscribing to the channel, as it really does help this channel grow. Also, if you want to find out why WWE might have a wrestling problem, or if you want to take a look at why WWE keeps dropping storylines, take a look at any of the videos on your screen. And as always, thank you for hanging with me in the Dre Fabe Corner, and I'll see y'all in the next one.